Yeah, this week I'm absolutely delighted that we've got Craig Rutherford on, the manager of the Barrow AFC Community Trust. Welcome aboard once again, Craig.
Hi, Tony. Hope you're well.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a cold and I'm trying to fight it off, but slowly getting there. So I was just looking on my notes there, Craig. It was 21st of October when we last had a chat. Doesn't time fly with the season now? Now in February, and so
I can't have done anything very exciting since then.
No, you've got your UEFA B badge, which we'll talk about shortly. So, right, Craig. So on the community trust front, is there any big announcements? Is there any big projects that you're involved with?
Yeah, we've just successfully been registered as a charitable organisation over the last few weeks. So a lot of hard work's gone into that. So we're delighted with the outcome, and that's an exclusive for you, that, Tony. Actually,
wow.
So yeah, we're excited to see where that takes us with our new board of trustees. We've got our first meeting as a charitable trust in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited to see what we can do and how we can grow the community trust.
Yeah, I was involved in the Barrow Raiders application, Craig, and I know how onerous it was. There was lots of forms to fill in and lots of evidence and information that you had to provide. I'm sure it was similar for yourselves, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And we've had some brilliant people involved, the trustees giving up the time to do it. And we've worked with Quentin from a localist consultancy group to support us through it. I'm meeting him again on Friday, actually. We're going to use it as a bit of a blank canvas and rejig a few things and start a new business plan with a new vision. So to link in with the EFL Trust aims, and yeah, it's exciting times for us.
Oh, good. And let's hope that becoming a charitable entity, Craig, will help you sort of expand and enhance the community work that you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We do quite a lot at the minute. But what it does is the EFL Trust, which is the charitable arm of the league that Barrow play in. They're a registered charity, and part of their capability is what we have to work towards before we can access their funding grants for their projects, and that they open up so many more doors, and their aims are to ensure that us as the community arm of Barrow AFC are not relying on the performances of the first team. So even if they drop a league, which I'm confident we won't, we're not relying on that. The funds that you get from the EFL are kind of 3 to 4 year contracts for the programs they want to run in local communities. So as soon as we hit the standards they want us to hit with regards to their capability, that'll open so many more doors for us.
Yeah, excellent. So in terms of community activities, Craig, are you still involved in getting in the schools and everything? Is all that going well?
Yeah, going really well. And we spoke before about how difficult COVID was for local schools and local children, and we're more or less back to normality with regard to us going in and working with local children. We've recently took over the school games role. I say recently, it's been about 6 months now, but that's given us a good opportunity to work with schools in a different way, really. The school games used to be a competitive environment where you ran local competitions to qualify for the county games, but post-COVID, the outcomes of the school games has changed dramatically with regards to just trying to get people more active and socially included again. So we've been able to develop a lot of pilot projects to link with the school games, to work with children about rebuilding resilience and get them to enjoy being physically active without the pressure of it being specific sports and things. So we've been running quite a few projects with that, and it's been a really, really good role for us. We've really enjoyed it, linking with our whole school at Furness Academy. So hopefully that can continue to grow, and the school games outcomes and values, are very similar to our aims and objectives from a community point of view. So it's been a nice link.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming, Craig, that since Barrow became a football league club once again, does that make your job a little bit easier in attracting interest and sponsorship and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. But I think sort of in the past, I think the work that we've been doing anyway in the town and the relationships we had with local council and key charitable agencies, I think that helped us as well, because they knew the work we were doing was beneficial to certain areas of the town. But as you say, with the success of the first team, brings in more young people being interested in the club, and more older people, really. So that is obviously going to benefit the profile of the club, which is going to benefit the profile of us. And I have to say, since Alicia Henry's come in as the new general manager of the football club, she's very focused on linking with us as a community trust and supporting the work we do. So it's been great.
Now, I know in the past, Craig, we've talked about some of the facilities within the town. I mean, some of this funding that comes from the government, is there any way of perhaps tapping into that to improve the facilities at Holker Street and even other football pitches like in Snyder Road, which I know is part of the charity in the game that you're going to be talking about later on? But is there any way of tapping into these funds?
I think from my point of view, we're trying to get the message across that we're more than just a football club, and you'll have the same with the Raiders, with the work that you do in the community. It's using the profile of the club to kind of infuse and inspire local people. And you often get tagged because you're a football club and probably a rugby club like yourselves, that all you can deliver is rugby or football. But the projects we deliver are so kind of varied and and things like that. So I've said all that now, but I'll go back to football, because I came through the junior league from 9 years old through to 16 and played open age locally as well. I've never been able to give anything back with regards to taking a local team, because I've always been playing myself or coaching with Barrow, and my son has never been interested in football. And normally a parent for grassroots teams, lad plays for the club or something like that. So I've worked really hard to build relationships with the junior league, the Barrow District Junior Football League, to show them that as the community arm of the football club, we want to improve facilities for local people. So as you say, Snyder Road, we're going to be using half of the money that we raise from the charity game is going to go towards that.
I believe so.
And we're currently in talks with the league and the council to see what else we can do with especially the Snyder Road facility to improve it. And the biggest aim is to turn it into a big community hub for the town.
Now, Craig, have you been going to watch the team at Holker Street this season? I know when I spoke to you last time, you were missing one or two games, but
I've seen three. I've seen three games. I've actually moved onto Lancaster City as a first team coach at the moment.
Have you?
So I'm really enjoying it. Really good little club in the city. Good people around it. It's helped me kind of learn and progress even further now. So I'm enjoying that. So when we've not had games or there's been no training, I've tried to catch some midweek games. So I've seen three. I don't think my record's great, to be fair. I think we've lost 2 and won 1. So I don't know if I'm a bad omen when I go and watch.
Sorry, just so I understand what you've just said there. This is a bit of a shock to me. You are the first team coach at Lancaster City.
Yeah, so they've got the manager, assistant manager, and then I'm a first team coach in there, yeah.
All right, so you go to Lancaster, a couple of nights a week? And
twice a week to train, and then games on a Saturday, yeah.
Wow. And are they in the same league as Workington?
League above.
Wow, right, okay.
So one league below the National League North.
Right.
So it's been a great step since stopping with the first team at Barrow. It's again competitive football, men's football. Promotion, relegation on the line, and spent the last kind of 6-7 weeks settling in, getting to understand how they play, getting to know the players, getting to know the staff teams and the people around the club. So they've been really welcoming and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Who's the manager there then?
Mark Fell, he's called. He's
Fell.
Local people will know him. Mark Fell, yeah. So local people will know him. He runs 17 Sport, which is the local kit supplier.
All right.
And he's got a background in education, and he's a UEFA A licensed coach as well. So he contacted me a couple of weeks after I'd not been doing the first team at Barrow anymore. And we had a coffee and decided to kind of take the plunge and give it a go. So it's been good.
And how's Lancaster getting on then?
Mid-table at the moment. There is a chance of a playoff push towards the end of the season, but we need to really go on a good run. We've been a bit inconsistent since I've been in. So if we're going to get that consistency right, which is probably one of the hardest things to do in football, we should be able to give it a good go towards the end of the season.
What sort of crowds do Lancaster get, Craig?
It varies really between 100 and 400 at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking to them, they've got a great opportunity to link with the city of Lancaster and the council there. So hopefully with my experiences with the community trust here and the relationships we have in Barrow with the local council, I can kind of support them a little bit with their things going on there as well.
And how do you feel then when you go there? Is it a little bit different from what you've been doing in the past at Barrow? Do you feel different now? You've got this badge?
No, it feels good. They've got a really good staff team there. The preparation and everything that Mark and the staff do with the time they actually have is really good, really professional. They use video analysis. He has scouts, so it's a good professional setup. So the only difference is the time you have with the players, really, and obviously the level that they're playing at. So when I was at Barrow, if I could get through training throughout the week, you'd have the opportunity to train 4 times a week with games, whereas Lancaster's obviously twice a week training on an evening. The lads are in full-time jobs as well away from football, so that's the big difference, but still really professional with how they go about things with regards to the football side of things, and a lot to kind of progress and work on off the pitch to link the club more with the city, which hopefully we can work together as a club and with my experiences at the community trust here and try and develop that further with them.
So I'm assuming, Craig, this is part of a longer objective, is it? You've got your badge now, your UEFA B badge. You're getting your experience of first team coaching at a team that's just below Conference North, as you say.
Yeah.
Is this part of a longer term plan?
Well, it was a next logical step for me, really, to carry on being a coach at a first team level. It's a good level. Like I say, it's a league below kind of National League North teams, and then beyond that, it is kind of full time football. So I'm enjoying it. I want to be part of it for a while, and just see where it goes. Yeah.
Good. So, what's your general overview of what's going on at Barrow AFC at the moment then?
I think recently performances have been a lot better from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing. I watched the Ipswich FA Cup game and they were outstanding in that game. And then I watched Colchester and Salford. And not as good as they were in Ipswich. So again, if they can find that consistency from the Ipswich game, there's some good players at Barrow, and the fans and the local directors with Mark Etherington and people like that deserve this club to stay in the Football League. So I genuinely hope they do it and achieve it. And there's still lads playing for the club who were there while I was having my time there, and you have good relationships with them and you stay in touch with them. And I used to room with the goalkeeper coach, Josh Lillis, and we'd phone each other kind of once a week. And so desperate for them to stay up, for the fans and for the lads that are still playing that were around when I was there and things like that. And for Mark Cooper, to be fair, I want him to succeed and keep the club in the league and then hopefully work with him once we set up our academy next season.
I mean, I was invited as a corporate guest to Barrow versus Mansfield. So I went there, Craig. I had a great pre-match meal and drinks, and the women who worked in there were absolutely fantastic. Took us to our seat. It was a lovely Saturday afternoon. It was almost summerish.
Yeah.
And I was sat there in the stand. The pitch looked like Wembley. The teams were coming out, they were playing faithless. I thought, right, you don't get as good as this. This is fantastic, everybody looking after you. And within 10 seconds, we were 1-0 down. Talk about going from there to there in an instant. And
I think, to be fair, if you look at majority of games, they've been really close. And it's very similar to the start David Dunn had, where we were in games, but losing them by the odd goal. So again, it's just that if you can get on that good little run, the key time of the season, like Rob Kelly managed to do that. Hopefully they can do it again.
Well, they've got Harrogate at home on Saturday, haven't they now?
Yeah, tough game.
Tough game. Harrogate have had a pretty good season, but we need to be winning games like that if we want to get out.
No, I agree.
I mean, I've been listening to Radio Cumbria as well. There's been a lot of supporter criticism, if you like, at Carlisle United. Now they're in an even worse position than us. But when you look at the league table, they're only 3 points behind us.
Yeah, it's very, very tight down at the bottom, isn't it?
And yet the Carlisle public are going absolutely mental, saying sack the manager and this isn't good enough. And I'm thinking this is going to be some fight these last 15 games.
Oldham have turned a bit of a corner as well, haven't they, recently?
Yeah, with John Sheridan coming in.
Yeah. So again, it's in our control, which is where you want to be. You don't want to be relying on other teams. So if we can look after ourselves and get positive results and get points on the board, you'd rather be in that position, I think, rather than chasing.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Craig. We've just got to get consistent, get 4 or 5 victories, and
that's it. Well, to be fair, that's the most difficult thing in football is being consistent. It's, if it was easy, everyone would be playing at the highest level, wouldn't they? So,
well, yeah. Right, mate. We did talk about the possibility of a ladies' team at Holker St, Craig. I believe there's been some progress on that front.
Yeah, the Wildcats is going really well. So we've got to kind of move that forward now, so it doesn't just carry on being a weekly session. So the next logical step for that is to speak to some grassroots clubs and show them the amount of girls we've got attending each week, and hopefully start to create some more teams. But I have a coach who works on it, who is really interested in getting a Barrow ladies team set up. So she's just about to have a baby, so we're going to let her do that first. And then we'll get together and we'll discuss how we can support her and start to move things forward. And like you say, that with the investment in different facilities in the area, hopefully we can get them a nice base to play the games from and grow it from there. It's very early doors, it's just discussions, but we're going to continue those discussions once she comes back from having a second child and enjoying some time with them.
Yeah, and perhaps your first signing could be Georgia Stanway, Craig.
Yeah, I'll have to really go into the pockets of the owners of the club there, won't I? See if we can afford her.
Yeah, I watched that game the other night, England versus Spain, actually. I mean, the standard was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, the technical ability is really, really good. Really good. And hopefully it continues to grow and they start to generate the income that will get them the wages and the profile that it deserves. And George she's a quality player, but a quality person as well, who's really proud of her roots in Barrow, and I know her family are as well. And so just really looking forward to see how she continues to progress, because I think we forget she's still only about 23, isn't she?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
she's still really young. So yeah, it's exciting to watch her. I mean, my daughter's not even interested in football, but has got a picture of Georgia in a room.
Oh, right.
Georgia's mum used to be a teacher at a school, so she just loves Georgia. And I think it's probably because she's seeing another woman like chasing her dreams and succeeding by working hard. And it's really inspired Grace, even though she's not interested in football. So
good.
Long may it continue.
Yep. Now, Craig, you announced this week, or Barrow AFC certainly announced, that you had achieved your UEFA B badge after 2 years hard graft. Now, if there's any listener out there who's interested in going down the coaching process, can you just give them a little summary of what you had to do to get that qualification?
Yeah, so it's normally an 18-month course and then like an ongoing support period to ensure that you start to deliver at the level required. What I've really enjoyed about it is it really makes you look at yourself as a coach, what your philosophies are, how you put them philosophies across to your players, your teams, how you know your players, not just as players, but as people as well, finding the best ways to develop them. And it really gets you thinking into the tactical and technical side of football. So I had to produce a project of my philosophies, my influences, what motivates me, and then how I got to know the players that I worked with, how I put a season program together for those players, within the systems that I prefer and play. Do I fully understand what each role needs? So I've had to develop kind of a player profile for the players that I work with, but then a positional profile, so they've got a full understanding of what each player needs to bring to their role within a unit. And then you talk about units within units, and then units working together, how you adapt your training. You talk a lot about your pitch geography at training, because often, kind of even with us at the Performance Centre at Barrow, we have half a pitch to work on every week. So you talk about pitch geography, so you can use the space you've got and then get that across to the players that if this was a full-size pitch, this is the area of the pitch we're working on. So you can still utilise small areas at training and things like that. So it's been absolutely fantastic, honestly, Tony. I've loved every minute of it. There's been times where my head's nearly exploded and I've kind of felt, oh my word, am I at this level? And you question yourself, but with the support from the tutors and other candidates and that determination to want to get through it, it's been so worthwhile. And the biggest challenge I've got now is I've got to spend the next 12 months really continuing to work at that level and starting to develop. It's very like your driving test. Kind of, you work so hard to get to the level that you get your pass, and then once you've passed, you then learn to drive, don't you?
Yeah.
So it's a bit like that, really. I'll now be learning to coach at that level on a consistent basis with the teams that I work with, either in the academy at Barrow or at Lancaster.
So it's like having the confidence to go on the M6.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a very thought-provoking, mentally draining, but hugely enjoyable and inspirational course.
But what happened to the?
Sorry.
All I was going to say was, what happened to the good old days where you were in a changing room before the game and you used to shout at half a dozen people and say, come on, get yourselves out there and kick him and kick. What happened to all that?
Well, I think to be fair, I think Ian Everett summed it up quite well with his interviews at Barrow when he said he's kind of a modern coach with old school values. So
right,
there's a big thing now with regards to man management, and even back in the day when Bobby Robson was a manager, his man management skills were unbelievable, and he's a big inspiration of mine from a coaching point of view, how he approach things. So the way society is now with regards to that, talking about how you're feeling is a lot more accepted, and people are encouraged to do that now. It does link into football, and you've got to understand what makes your players tick, what will help them if they're not playing very well. Some players might need that kick up the backside, but other players will need an arm around them. I mean, I was a player who, if a manager kind of give me a bit of a rollicking, I'd be like, oh, right, that's what I've got to do, so I'm going to do it. Whereas other players wouldn't respond as well to that. So it does get you thinking about your things. I mean, you know, I'll be honest, I've been like this as a coach with regards to sometimes too emotional on the sidelines, getting too involved in the game and not taking a step back. But this last 2 years has really taught me to take my emotions out of it and look at it with a backward step and a bigger picture. And it's not about me, it's about the players, and how can I help those players reach their potential. And if, you know, I'll be working at different levels. If I'm working with a younger age group in the academy, it's about the development of those players, whereas Lancaster City is about getting points every week while still helping those players improve. So it's given me so many different tools to start doing that, and really made me think about who I am as a coach and what I can bring to players.
So we mentioned him before, actually, Craig, John Sheridan, old school. Yeah. He's had about 6 jobs in about 3 seasons. He got sacked at Carlisle. I think he's been to Oldham about 4 times. He's come back to Oldham. They were next to bottom. I think they've won 4 games out of 5. Yeah. They're almost on par with, in fact, if they win the game in hand, they'll leapfrog Barrow. Yeah. So where does he sit in the coaching philosophy? It's
hard to say, really, with not being able to see him coach. It's quite easy, isn't it, to have opinions on players, coaches, but when you don't see them on a daily basis and see what their approaches are and what their philosophies are and how they do things, it's quite hard to comment. And when you're in this, I'm not in a similar situation to John Sheridan or Mark Cooper, but I'm involved in football with trying to win games and go up the league with Lancaster and trying to give my input to the manager. And you do see how hard managers work and what they go through when they try and pick a team and things like that. So when you see it and you live it, you kind of are a bit more, you empathise with it a little bit more, if that makes sense. Because it's a very difficult job, being a football manager and things like that, because it's a job that you're guaranteed that not everyone's going to be happy with the decisions you make, whether it's players, fans, the board.
Precisely.
So you're in kind of a very difficult situation. But on the flip side, the joy of success, with whether your success be that at grassroots level, you're making a group of 16 children train regularly, so be physically active on a regular basis. They're generating friendships and for life, and you're giving them life skills. That's just as big of an achievement as winning a league with a professional club for me, because the grassroots coaches are actually making a difference to young people's lives. So that's the flip side. When the things get tough, they're the things you remember, and they're the things that keep you motivated, that you're actually in it for the players and you're in it to share that love that you had for football. And then when you go into the professional game, the pressure does increase, but those values are still there with regards to you're trying to help them players maintain their love for the game. Sometimes you're trying to help them players earn a living. Sometimes you try to help them players win football matches and get promotions and stay in leagues and things like that. So each coach will have their different reasons for being in the role and have their different ways of doing it. And I think that's what's great about the sport. You meet so many different people, and that's what's been great about the course. Because on the weekend we've just had now, our last one, you had to do a presentation about your journey throughout the course, and watching all the other candidates share their journeys and how it's impacted them and their roles was really inspiring. And throughout the group, the candidates got each other through. So that's one thing I do love about football. It is quite a close-knit community with good support networks.
And the other thing as well, Craig, of course, is you're gonna have to expect and manage the disappointments, because it is very results orientated, particularly at the highest level.
Game, yeah, and to be fair, at a grassroots level as well, with adult football, and as young children get older into like 15, 16s, then results become more important, and you have got to balance that. I can't remember what interview I think it was. I think it might have been some players talking about the Brighton manager,
Potter,
saying about he doesn't ever get too high or low. So he doesn't get too carried away with wins, or he doesn't get too disappointed with losses. Everything's a learning opportunity for him and his players. And it's a good way of looking at it, really.
And it's a bit like even the league that Barrow's in at the moment, Craig. I've noticed that I think the bottom 10 teams, there's only one club that hasn't sacked the manager this season.
And then that's the ruthless side of the game, isn't it? At professional level, it's a business. And the higher the league you're in, the more money that business will generate. So if there's a threat to that, owners and...
Do you know who the club is, by the way?
Pardon?
Do you know who the club is who haven't sacked the manager? The only one in the bottom 10.
Is this the manager who started at the start of this season?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably us then, is it?
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how ruthless it is, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
Bradford City.
We saw it with... Yeah, Bradford City, he's just left, hasn't he?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah, it is. So has he had time to implement his... And unfortunately, in football, you don't get that time.
So after UEFA B then, Craig, what's next? Is it UEFA A, or is it...
UEFA A is the next coaching badge, yeah, but I'm not one to chase badges. But then having said that, the UEFA B is a badge that I wanted to get from a young age, because I've always wanted to work in an academy, and your B kind of gives you the qualification to open the doors to that. But what I need to do now is make sure I consistently work at UEFA B level with all the coaching that I do now. So throughout the programme, the course, I've had to show that I can plan sessions, deliver those sessions and review those sessions and take that review into my next session and do the same with matches and make sure all my training and matches link so the players have a consistent bit of information going right through the season. And then if you pick anything up in a match that isn't on your kind of 6-week training plan, you might have to bring that in because it's a need. So I've got to now be consistent with how I deliver, how I use different coaching interventions. So when I'm training, when do I go in and either stop a session to show a coaching point, or when does it need just a little chat with an individual player while the game's still going on, things like that. So I've got to work hard now to stay at that level, and then maybe do that for 12 months and see where I am.
So what level?
The license, yes, it's something I probably do want to do long term, but I'm not in a great rush now because these last 2 years it's been a lot of hard work and it's been mentally draining.
Yeah.
So now I want to make sure that I can consistently coach at that level over a period of time and my standards don't drop. And then, we can have a look at that.
So what level do you have to be qualified to manage in the Football League, for example?
I think you need it's your pro in the Premier League, and I think it's your A to be in the professional game.
Oh, is it? Right, okay. So at Barrow's level, you'd have to
Barrow's level. So I think Jason Taylor's currently on his A now to be a part of his first team role. I'm not sure what Mark Cooper has, and I might be wrong about that because, like you say, I've never really looked into what I need to manage in the Premier League because I have dreams, but I've got to have realistic dreams.
Hey, you never know.
And once I get to that stage it's interesting now because I've obviously been manager of the under-21s at Barrow and the reserves. Then I've gone into a coaching role within the first team, and now I'm a coaching role within Lancaster.
Yeah,
it's now thinking about what I want to do there. Do I want to carry on being a first team coach? And take training sessions and deliver to the manager's plans and help the manager with what I'm seeing on a match day? Or do I eventually want to be that manager and be the lead and be in charge? And that's something over the next sort of 12 months I'll probably start to think about. And
okay. And you're still pretty young, really. What are you, 36?
37, yeah. So from a coaching point of view, I'm still young, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So big future ahead for you, Craig, yeah?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
One day, you never know, mate. You might be leading that team out at Holker St, yeah?
That would... just to be back involved with that would be amazing. I'll never, ever forget those 3 years. What an experience.
Yeah, good. Right, mate. Last part of the show, 24-hour football match. Now, I know you had this last year at Furness Cavaliers, and it was a great success. I think you raised about £8,000. But this year... you're going one step better. This is going to be at Holker St on the 14th and 15th of May. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So last season we couldn't host it at Barrow because of the work being done to the pitch. And Furness Cavaliers were absolutely amazing hosts. They looked after us unbelievably well. But to have it at Barrow AFC surely is inspirational for some of the players going to be playing.
Oh, yeah.
The club are getting right behind it this year, as mentioned Alicia before. She's come in and she's getting right behind the work we do. She's going to play in it as well, actually, which is brilliant. So we're very excited to get it up and running again. Funds this year will be split between what we spoke about before. We've tried to improve the facilities over on Snyder Road.
Yep.
And then the other half is going to go to St Mary's Hospice.
Yep.
Just before Christmas, I lost my father-in-law to cancer.
Oh dear.
And the staff and the people working there were just unbelievable with the support they gave Colin and his end-of-life care, his wife. And moving beyond that, they've been helping me with things that I've gone through previous to losing Colin and helping me deal with that as well. It's my kind of, it's a little bit selfish, but it's my way of saying thank you. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have seen the work the hospice have done, and will agree that it's going to a really worthy cause.
Definitely. So it kicks off at 3:00, Craig.
Yeah, so we've actually done it So it's going to be a bit of a longer day for some of the Barrow AFC staff, because we've got the curtain raiser is going to be the Performance Centre tournament is going to return to Barrow AFC this year.
Yep.
With an under-8s and under-7s tournament in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the curtain raiser. And then we're going to kick off at 3:00. There'll be, all the huts will be open to get refreshments, food. The club are going to put some entertainment on the Sunday when it finishes in the fan zone as a bit of a well done to the players and family and friends and supporters. So they're going to make a really good weekend of it. We're excited about it. It'll be a great occasion. I'm not looking forward to the graveyard shift again, but what I found, and again, it's like anything you do in life, when you're involved with people and you get that bond of doing something for a great cause, the environment and the atmosphere is unbelievable. And you had like the holiday blues last year when it had finished, because you missed the people. So I'm looking forward to that again. And that's what got us through, the people you had around you, because it is tough. It's physically and mentally tough.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to be playing through the night?
Yeah. So last year we had the fire brigade brought some portable floodlights down for us. So we have kind of 22 players on each team, and we start at 9 aside. And then when it comes to overnight, we drop it down to 5 aside. And the game continues through the night. So talk about the graveyard shift. That was named last year by us, who played from 11:30 at night through till 6:00 in the morning, and allowed others to get some sleep. And then when they had got their recovery, they came and released us to get some sleep. But to be fair, I think myself and Ricky Warbank, who helps me organise it with Stephen Gill, I think we played around 14 hours of the 24 last year. Just because I didn't want to sit down and seize up, I think. So through the night we'll go.
And can fans stay through the night to watch?
A couple did last year, but we're not. We'd understand if they don't want to.
But they can do.
They can if they want, but there'll be nothing food-wise being sold, I don't think, through the night. It'll just be a case of getting the game continuing, and then
turn up the next
day. It'll open on the Sunday and stuff. So, but yeah, they're more than welcome to support us and get us through it. So we just hope people get behind it again, which they did last year. I mean, raising £8,000 on the first one was unbelievable, and we really appreciated the support from everyone in the local community. So hopefully they can get right behind it again.
So will people have to pay to get in, Craig, or as part of it?
No. We've got a crowdfunding page set up, and that's how people make the donations. So we don't want to charge people to come in.
No.
There might be opportunities for some donations when you're here, but the support that the public gave us last year was fantastic. So we want that again, and we don't want to put a cost on it. But if anyone wants to make a donation, the crowdfunding page is there. If you keep an eye on all our social media platforms, we'll get the links out in the next few weeks.
All right.
We start to build towards it. So
that's your advice to the listeners then, Craig. If they want to get involved, they want to attend, they want to donate anything, just keep in touch at the moment with the Barrow AFC page, is it? Yeah,
Barrow AFC and the Barrow AFC Community Sports page will have all the relevant info of how you can donate. And if there's anyone out there who wants to volunteer throughout the 24 hours and give us a hand on like making sure that the players are hydrated and all the supporters are in being looked after and help with doing some errands and stuff like that, then the more help we can get, the better to make it a successful event. What about businesses, Craig? Is there any invite? Yeah, there's lots of sponsorship opportunities. Yep. They're all on the crowdfunding page, and again, we'll be getting them announced over the coming weeks. We're just finalising the squads at the minute, and then once we've done that, all the sponsorship opportunities will come out. And we know Phil Collar Associates has already kind of said they want to be a front of the shirt sponsor for our team. Good. So that's great. And we've got the sleeve sponsors, back of the short sponsors, food sponsors, player hydration sponsors, anything that helps make the day run and covers all the costs. So the more money we can generate can go to the charity. All right. Well, that sounds absolutely terrific. A fantastic cause, as you say, St Mary's Hospice and the improvement of the Schneider Road football facilities, which will be great for the younger generation in the town, Craig. So, look, thanks very much. The Lancaster City one was a bit of a surprise. You kept that quiet.
But you're going to be very busy between now and then, aren't you? You've got Lancaster City, you've got all the community stuff, you've got this 24-hour match. So you're doing some great stuff, mate. And the academy. Yeah. Just keep it going. Thanks very much for coming on Can Do FM. And
I appreciate that.
You'll have to ask Johnny Williams if he'll and lend a hand as well through Can Do.
Yeah, to be fair, last year they streamed the last hour or so of the match for us.
Right,
so,
good.
Yeah, I'll probably get in touch with Johnny again because we've obviously got more facilities that can cater for that sort of thing this year with all the press boxes and stuff we've got at the club. So yeah, we'll definitely be in touch.
Good.
Again, appreciate you giving us the time to share the work we're doing and share the messages. I hope the Raiders carry on doing the great work they're doing as well, and I hope things get sorted with the marquee so you can get up and running again.
Absolutely. No, thanks very much, Craig. Great to talk to you. All the best, and we'll speak round about the time of the 24-hour game, probably 24 hours after when you're still feeling the pain.
Yeah, probably getting wheeled in. Come out for 3 days last year.
That's right. Right. Cheers, Craig.
Thank you.
Take
care. Bye.
Bye.